Hi, this is Derek from myhostedwebsite.com. In this video I'm going to be showing you how to set up your own private VPS server using DigitalOcean, and then I'm going to show you how to install WordPress and have it securely managed on a VPS so you can host your clients' websites or use it as a test environment. So let's get started. I have got a couple of VPSs set up already in my control panel. I'm going to create a brand new droplet just for this example today. So I'm going to click on create. Now as you can see here, you have got different sizes of VPSs you can start out with, and the great thing about DigitalOcean is really the price. As you can see here, you can start a VPS server for $5 a month, and for that you get 512 megabytes of RAM, 1 CPU core, 20 gigabytes of SSD storage space, and a terabyte of transfer, so bandwidth, for the month, for 1 month, $5. And surprisingly, if you've got a few very small WordPress sites or even static websites, and I'll go into that a bit later, you can run quite a few websites for $5 a month from this VPS. So anyway, we're going to select the $5 option, and you can select what region you want to be in. So depending on what you're going to host and where you are in the world, you might decide to select New York. They have 3 different data centers in New York. Amsterdam, 3 data centers again there, 1 in San Francisco, 1 in Singapore, and 1 in London. I'm in the UK, so I'm going to select London as my region. Up here I'm going to put in a host name for the server, and I'm just going to call this MHW1 for my hosted website, server 1. And I'm going to select private networking. I don't really need this for this example, but I always have it selected, which means basically if I've got another VPS, I have a private network. I can create a private network between the two. Now I'm going to select the image that I want to use. Now for this example, and I'll tell you why I'm going to select this as we go through this, I'm going to leave this set to the default Ubuntu version 14.04 64-bit. Okay, so we're just going to leave that as is. You can also have the option to add SSH keys. We'll probably go into that in another video. So I'm just going to leave that as optional for the moment and create this droplet. And you can see how quickly it goes off and creates your server, sends you an email with the login details, which we'll see shortly. Now most of the times you get the email before it's even finished creating. So what I'll do is I'm going to go and check my email account and see. Here we go. So we've got the email. These are the details we're going to need to log in, so we will come back to that shortly. To our host, and as you can see, it's created the server for us. We've got an IP address here. As you can see, all of our selections have been done. 512 megs of RAM, 20 gig SSD in the London region, and running Ubuntu 14.04. Okay, now that's all we want to do in this section. Next, we're going to log in to another application which we're going to now use to manage this VPS. So we're going to open a new browser tabs, and we're going to go over to a website called ServerPilot.io. And as it says here, the best way to run PHP websites: simple, fast, secure hosting on your DigitalOcean servers. So we've already created our DigitalOcean account. If you didn't have one already, sign up for DigitalOcean account. I'm going to leave a link below this video. You can sign up for a DigitalOcean account via my affiliate link. Thank you very much. And now we're going to create our ServerPilot account here. ServerPilot is I just found out about this maybe about 4 weeks ago, about a month now. I've been running a few test servers on here. This is fantastic. They take away the headache of managing a VPS. So if you're inexperienced in Linux servers, for example, but you still like the idea and having the flexibility to have more control over your hosting environment rather than being in a shared host with, say, GoDaddy or Bluehost or one of those hosts, this is an ideal way to have your hosting of a particular website or websites, because this is the beauty of this, and it's what we're going to get into in a minute. It's a great option to take away. They do all the security for you. They keep everything secure and safe on your website, and you just get on with the website design and development side of things. It's really, really good. So let's jump into this, and we can see how this is going to help us. So first thing you're going to want to do is sign up. Now I've already got an account. You can create the account's free, by the way. There's no payment for their base account and features that we're going to use throughout this video. And all accounts get a 14-day free trial of their business plan. Okay, so if we go back to the website, what we're going to be using is this free version here, which allows you to control unlimited websites. It has firewall configuration all done for you out of the box. Server security updates are done, and you have API access. So this is what we're going to focus on today. So let me log into my account, and I am going to show you some servers. I've got some servers already hooked up here. Now we're going to hook up the server that we've just created on our DigitalOcean panel. So we're going to say connect server. Type in the server name, which I believe was MHW1, and continue setup. Now all we need to do here now is cut and paste this code and paste that into our server. Okay, so let's go back to our DigitalOcean control panel. We can see what our host name, our IP address is for our server here. Now we need to SSH into this server and cut and paste the code that ServerPilot has just given us. So first, let's get our login credentials back from the email, and let's log into the server. So you can see we've got the email here. It's telling us the IP address and username's root and the password. So I'm going to take this password, copy this password. I'm going to now bring up terminal. Root is the username, and the IP address is 178.62.116.136. Enter. Okay, it's asking us to authenticate, yes, and the password is this. Let's cut and paste that password, and we will paste that in. Okay, first thing it's asking us to do is to change the current password, so I'm going to do that now. Enter the current password, enter our new password, okay, so that's our password entered and changed, and we're at the command line. Now let's go back to server.io and get that, cut and paste that code into here. Let's go back and we'll get this. Hopefully we should be able to drop this down here. Maybe. Paste. There we go. Right, and hit enter. So what it's doing, it's going away. It's looks like it's getting some packages from DigitalOcean's repositories and building those packages. And we'll just wait for that to finish. The screen might be a bit too big now, but all the better. Okay, so that's finished. As you can see, ServerPilot is now configuring and securing your server, blah blah. You can manage, and then it's telling us where we can manage this server from. So let's go back to our ServerPilot control panel, and if we click on servers, we can now see we've got our new server here installed. So we click on that, we can see an overview, our IP address, and it has now been connected to our ServerPilot account. Click on apps, you can see we don't have any apps at the moment. Security, automatic updates are enabled, and firewall is enabled. So everything has been configured. So all of the, if you know about Linux servers, you know how much of a pain it can be to set up your firewall tables, etc. Doing that in Linux. I've done it for many years. This takes a lot of the pain out of that. It's all done and managed for you with a click of a few buttons. You can also look at logs. To do the log section and to monitor your logs, you'd have to upgrade to one of their paid accounts to do that. And you have one FTP user, which is called ServerPilot. If you want to add another user, you have to then upgrade to one of their paid accounts. So those are the only downsides to the free account, is that you only have one FTP account and you cannot monitor logs from that. Other than that, you can create as many, you can hook up to as many DigitalOcean servers as you want. And this also works with the likes of Linode, if you use Linode as a VPS, and I do believe Amazon as well. So it's not just restricted to DigitalOcean. I like DigitalOcean because I think they're cheap and very easy to use, control panel, and it's very quick to set up. So that's my preference. So getting back to this, let's just see how we can install WordPress. So at this point, we have no apps created. So what we can do here is go in and create an app, and I'm just going to call it WordPress Test as the app name. Now it's asking you for a domain name. Now those of you, especially if you're 1wd.tv customer, viewer, fan even, hi Spence, you would know that we've been shown and taught to use subdomains off of our own hosting to do things like this. So if you have a domain that you want to use, you can type it in here. So here I'm just going to use a subdomain off of one of my domains. I'm just going to call it word1.myhostedwebsite.com. That's going to be the domain that I'm going to use for this, and the server we're connecting to is the server we've created, which is a MHW1. And runtime, you've got 3 versions, the last 3 supported versions of PHP. I tend to stick with the 5.4. That should be good enough for our examples. Obviously, if you have a particular application that needs a specific version of PHP, hopefully it's one of these 3, obviously then select the version of PHP that you think is adequate for your need. So now create the app. As you can see, it has the name of the server, our FTP client username, and the current PHP runtime version that we're using. Underneath that, it's showing you the domain that you're going to be able to hook this to, this particular application. And you can also hook this application to various different domains by adding more domains here if you wish. So let's now look at the FTP side of things, and let's get our WordPress install copied over to the FTP side via FTP to the server. So as you can see, what I just did there, let's go back, it's a bit quick there. I clicked on the ServerPilot username. This is the system user that you're going to use for your FTP client. Click on that name and now assign a password for this FTP client user. So I'm just going to type in a password, something, it has to be at least 8 characters. Okay, so I've got my password and the password set. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go into my FTP client. I'm on an iMac at the moment doing this tutorial, and so I'm going to use Transit as my FTP client. So I'm going to create a new, and we're just going to call it ServerPilot test. And the server, we've still got our email here, so we can get all that information from there. So I'm just going to put in the server IP address is 162. The username is ServerPilot, and the password is a password I have just set for that user. So there we go. So we log straight in. I can go into apps, and you can see this is the app. It gives it a folder name that we have set up. We called it WordPress test. So within here you'll have a public folder. Go into the public folder, you've got an index file. Okay, just to show you what you actually see if you went to a web browser to browse that, let's just cut and paste the actual IP address of our DigitalOcean VPS, and we'll just open up a browser here and put that in. So this is what you're going to see. So it says your WordPress test app is set up. So what we need to do now is FTP and install our WordPress installation. You just find that. So we've got our WordPress 4 download, and I'm just going to copy those files over into my folder on the server. So I'll just pause the video while these files copy over. It could take a few minutes. Oh, while we're waiting for the WordPress files to upload, what I should have mentioned with DigitalOcean at the moment, if you sign up for a DigitalOcean account through my affiliate link, which I'll leave in the video description below, you will get a $10 credit to your account. So with those $10, you can either have set up 2 VPSs at $5 a month, or you can have a $10 1 gig of RAM, a CPU, 30 gig hard drive space, 2 terabytes transfer, or you can just have the one $5 VPS and have it for 2 months. So effectively you're getting 2 months free if you sign up with my affiliate account. Check out DigitalOcean. Really great support, fantastic community with a lot of tutorials showing you how to set up all different kinds of applications on your VPS. So definitely check out DigitalOcean. Now let's get back to this tutorial. Okay, now that the files are copied over, we're going to go back over to our ServerPilot control panel, because now we need to create the database for our WordPress install. Okay, so we've got our WordPress app here. Click on that, we can see we're into the application. If we click on database, we can now create a database. Now we can give the name a database, give the database a name, sorry, and in this instance I'm just going to call it WordPress 1. I'll call it WordPress test 1, and it also auto generates a username and password, which is, you know, obviously quite a secure one by the looks of it. So I'm going to leave those as default. Now what I've done in the past when I've done this is, if I go and create database now, it actually gets rid of the username and password, and I want to be able to just make it easy and cut and paste this information into the WordPress install. So what I'm going to do is just leave the screen here as it is, open another tab, and go back to the actual WordPress install. So if I refresh this page with the IP address, I now have the WordPress install as normal. So I'm going to hit continue here, and let's go, and here I can type in the database name, which is the name I just typed in, which was WordPress test 1. The username, I'm going to now go back here and cut and paste it from here. So I'm doing Control C on Windows or Command C on a Mac, and I'm going to do Control V on Windows or Command C on a Mac to paste that username into that box there, and repeat the same steps for the password. Password. Okay, database is localhost, local to the VPS server, so we don't need to change that. Table prefix, some people leave this as WP. I like to add, usually I would have the extension of the actual database client, or either the client's name or the website name or something like that, just to make it a bit more secure. So I'm going to put that as my table prefix. Now don't click submit here yet, because if you do that it's not going to work, because we actually haven't created the database yet. We've only copied in the fields. So we need to go back to our ServerPilot tab and actually create this database now. So once we click on create, that's it. The database has been created. You can check that by clicking databases here, and you'll see that the WordPress database with the user has been created. So if we go back to our WordPress tab and now hit submit, there you go. You get the standard WordPress message to run the install. So let's click on the run the install button, and that is it. So now we can put in our title, for example, and now select a username for our username WordPress user, and the password. And I'm just doing a very basic one, so obviously you would have much more secure passwords than what I'm choosing. And then you would put in an email address if you need email coming through, and I will just put my email address in here, and I'm going to deselect that, as this is just a test site and I don't want search engines to crawl this site, and install WordPress. That's it, success. Your WordPress has been installed. Log in, and obviously we'd log in with those details, and there you have it. You've got WordPress installed on your own VPS, which is, you know, secured with a firewall, all of the security you'd expect from a secured hosting environment, and you would just access your WordPress as you would normally. ServerPilot, great for if you are building sites and you just want to have a mess around and test out different designs or templates or themes and stuff like that. Really useful for that kind of thing. Or even if you want to build a test site for a client, for example, or for those of you that have actually bought into the 1WD.TV video members kit, you could actually use this to build out some membership kits and you know, have them as your sort of showroom, if you like. So it's really useful for that. Any questions, please hit me up on Twitter, Facebook, or on the YouTube channel here, and I'll be doing a few more videos going a bit more in depth using this for multiple WordPress installs, and a few other bits and pieces to do with WordPress and servers. I hope you enjoyed this. Speak to you soon.